Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Aleksander Grunčić Krajnc from Croatia, whom I know as Sasha. We met in 2006 on a Lisa Cairns retreat, and since then I have the feeling, or I understand, that things have changed, or not for you, Sasha. But I'm really grateful that you're joining us here on the Traveling Lighter uh, podcast and video channel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm very happy and honored to be here. Yes.
So when we last met, we were both seekers, uh, what's called seekers, on this non-duality path or non-path. I remember you were studying medicine, and that's relevant to the part of what we do, delivering this course to NHS staff. But I also remember you had issues with anxiety. Am I right?
Yeah, I was already a medical doctor
Yeah.
at that time when we met, but then I was working in surgery. I was specializing abdominal surgery, and then I think it was culmination of this spiritual seeking and also all the emotions that were happening. I was like, I think I was having a burnout. Well, at least I thought at that time it's a burnout. And so I was unable to function. I had to quit my profession, and then I went into this whole spiritual seeking. I think that after Romania, no, I was in India before, yes, Romanian retreat, and I was going all around the world, the teachers and the obsessive spiritual seeking, something that you're already also familiar with, I believe.
Yeah. That's really relevant and useful for the people we work with who are also burning out from these caring professions.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think we'd be fascinated to hear about your story since then, or what's happened for you since then. And what I'm going to do,
Yes.
I'm going to pin you so you don't have to look. People don't have to look at the rest of us for now.
So after Romanian retreat, I was joining many other retreats. I think I went then to Australia to Roger Castillo. It was a 1 month retreat. And when I came back, the situation with my health even deteriorated. The burnout, the anxieties. I was experiencing chest pain, dizziness. I was like sure that I'm going to die. It was so bad I couldn't function. So yeah, I was just doing anything possible to get better. And when I came back from Australia, I broke up with my girlfriend, and then I moved to the seaside, to Croatia. I was living in Ljubljana in Slovenia. Those countries are neighboring. So this intuition drove me to go, just to leave everything. I left my girlfriend, my work, my family, and I was living just in seclusion for like 4 years. And then I got even worse than this, the chest pains and the weaknesses. And I think I was for like 6 months just lying in bed, and it was. And then I met another spiritual teacher uh, in Bosnia. Actually, he's from Manchester, and I was hanging with him around, and that exhausted me further. He gave me some insight, but also turned out, like many spiritual teachers, to have some kind of a little bit of a manipulating agenda. So yeah, then I split from this teacher, and then I was like maybe 6, 7, 8 hours every day. I was meditating. I said, this is it. I'm not going to run away from what's happening inside. I realized that there is no magical solution, because I was just waiting for this magic moment when I reach enlightenment. And why I wanted to reach enlightenment, if I'm honest, because I imagined it will bring an end to this suffering. So actually, it was not enlightenment that I was about. I was just seeking to end this suffering. So it was like a moment of, I'm now here. I left everything. So now, if I don't do this honest introspection, it's never going to happen. So I really then took courage, and I think once I really just for a moment dived inside and faced that terrible fear and faced that terrible emptiness, which I know and also see working with clients, that is at the core, at the root of every ego is this sense of huge despair. We all know that we are not getting younger every day. We're getting older and older. We have less and less options, and we are every day we're closer to. So if you look at the humanity situation, it doesn't look from the mind's perspective very inviting. So we're all aware of that, and so we try to avoid this feeling. And life drew me in situation where I was forced really to everything was burned, started burning, and then there were temptations. Life would offer me the sweetest things. Look what you have. It was almost like the Christ in the desert, the temptations. It reminded me of that story. So yeah, I did fail, sometimes of course, but most of the time I always got up and then got back on this work and then I remember a moment when I was really then I was 100% serious. I said, no, now I want nothing else in my life. I just want to be free. So I think from that decision, when I truly decided for freedom, honestly, really honestly with myself, because you can deceive other people, you cannot deceive yourself. We all know when we are lying to ourselves, regarding this very question, fundamental, what is it that I truly want? So after I made this commitment to really go for the truth, it was like a 1 month or and a half of sitting with this inner turmoil, and then it was like an explosion, and something changed in my awareness, I would say. And then I saw that I could do it. I was seeking this for 15 years. It could be done anytime. I was just postponing. We were just like, yeah, we want this, but no, but maybe just, a little bit of this before, a little bit of that before. So once you're committed, once you're decided, it can be anytime. It can be now in this moment. Or is the right time to face yourself and to really to come to this realization. And from that point, I would say, as always people say, everything is the same and everything is different. So, I haven't changed as a person much, maybe all. I worked on some, tendencies, but that's not so important. But it's just that there is acceptance of everything. It's happening, thoughts are happening, emotions are happening, sensations in the body are happening, life circumstance, very bad things are happening, inside or outside, but there is just some kind of acceptance. So not in a sense that it's okay that it's all happening. It's very difficult to explain. But even the non-acceptance is accepted. There is no desire to change the experience. So this is, I'm just living life as a Sasha, and have no desire to change anything, which also is not true. I have some desires and but okay, if I get what I want, it's okay. If I don't get what I want, it's also okay. And if I'm unsatisfied, it's still okay. It's very hard to describe the perspective. You just live your life, and there's finally an end to working on yourself. I don't have to do anything anymore. And yet also this is not true. I still every day sit and, something happens. And so basically, even as I explain, the moment I say something, I see it's not true because we live in duality. Everything I say, any one of you could challenge and say, maybe it's also true. So like Socrates said before dying, I know that I don't know anything. So it's just, and also it's not a blissful ignorance. I would say there is also intelligence, but there's also yeah, it's a different kind of living. So then after gaining this insight, I started studying hypnotherapy, Lila School in Amsterdam. That was also part of my awakening because they encouraged me then to look inside. And then I started, after 2 years, I gained the certification from clinical hypnotherapy, and it's a very strict school. To some people, they would give these certifications after 5 years, even after 6 years, when they see that you're mature to work with people with their unconscious mind. And then I went to study hypnosis in another school, Hypnotherapy University, which I think is, many say it's the best school in the world for hypnosis, which I still every day almost we have meetings and to study the technique, to go beyond the conscious mind, how to bypass the critical factor and go inside. And so yeah, now I work full time as a clinical hypnotherapist. I do more than 1,000 sessions a year with clients, and so that's basically from morning to evening. I'm seeing clients and working, and I have also this satsang where I speak like this once a month. It's for free, here in Ljubljana or in Buja. So basically, also have a family and a child, and so life is pretty busy, I would say, but enjoyable, even when it's not enjoyable. So that was my brief story, and if you have any questions, you're
Oh,
welcome to ask anything.
that's fascinating, Sasha. The one question that I guess I would ask is, can you say more about this explosion? And did the pain in the chest go? Did it go after that explosion, or what?
Yeah, it was not one, it was many explosions, but I can remember a few moments when it was really like, you know, it's so bad that you feel you are going to die and you want to run away from the feeling, and then you say, no, 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 okay, now I will rather die than live like this, and then you just close your eyes and really surrender and just to this feeling, and then something like opens, wow, like basically you see that it's your own energy, this energy of life that was stuck in one area. Basically it's energy that was trying to awaken. But then the medicine, will describe this as anxiety, panic attacks. They will give you medication for this, but actually just some energy that needs your attention so it can, release, and then it's available to you to live your life. So once I remember it was with fear, and once the strong, the most intense experience of opening to it, and once it was with this despair, when I was like left my girlfriend, left everything, and like there is no point in living. I was just, and some kind of this feeling, nagging feeling was all the time, all my life. It was somewhere behind, always, always. I just didn't notice it. As if you're driving in a car and there is something on the radio very quietly and some annoying music, and you don't even notice it. And then I became aware of it, that it was always there, and then when I went inside, it was also some kind of, like I fell in a black hole, and I uh, I disappeared in this black hole, I could say, and so those were like defining moment, and then still, every day, sometimes, but I had yesterday again something here happens, but now it's more like an exploration. Okay, let's see what's happening. There was you have everyday life will bring you challenges, so it's never ending. It's until that, life gives you opportunity to grow, to jump back in some comfort zone, or to keep expanding like a tree. Nature keeps growing until it's alive, and then yeah, I open to the feeling, and then always you get like to the new energetical level. So this it keeps, but now it's not in a form of some kind of desperate seeking. It's just the this keeps evolving. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Uh, When you talk about this, and this intense anxiety and suicidal thoughts in some ways, and I'm curious, and it's a sensitive subject, obviously, but you didn't do anything to end your life. You knew this is what was not a physiological condition because you're a doctor. Um, and I'm thinking, what would you say? And maybe your clients, you probably have among your clients people who have had similar feelings of wanting to end their lives because of this intense sensitivity to their own suffering.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive topic. The professional workers, we're all terrified of when someone says it's going to die.
Yes.
And I see teenagers, they say, I'm cutting myself, and I see they wait my reaction. I was, where do you cut yourself? Oh, show me. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I did that also, when I was younger. Yeah. And then they're like disappointed, It's a lot of attention, but I'm not afraid of exploring it. Okay, so you feel like you want to die. So then I ask them, okay, so how would it look? How would that feel for you to die? Okay, okay. So imagine that you die right now, and then we go through the process, the imagine dying, and then I'm not afraid to explore it, and just the death is also part of life. So,
Mm.
and if someone chooses to, sometimes I think I hope that he doesn't end his life,
Yeah.
in those days, and then I get another thought. If it's destined to happen like that, I cannot prevent this.
Mm.
So it is a sensitive topic, and of course, it's always good to follow the clinical guidelines, experts would say, but
Yeah.
also something not to be afraid of exploring. And
No, I mean, maybe is that what makes you different in the sense you are not afraid to explore it when those who are afraid are more likely to carry it out? Or I'm trying to understand, because what you describe is so intense, that pain. What is it in you that stopped you acting it out? And that you knew there was something beyond it.
well, that's the role of having someone that went through that already. I didn't have anyone, but I heard many stories of people that were spiritually awakening. I heard they had, they were dying, and it was a process of dying. And when I was happening, it was something inside of me. Oh, this is it. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. So I heard about it. And because those people that went through that, are the testimonial that it's nothing. So this is what helps. What was exactly your question? The
But you weren't afraid to go into it. Um, although it sounds terrifying, when you talk about it,
Yeah, yeah.
when you remember the intensity of how you felt. But there's something else. There's this almost like this, I would say, a kind of innocent knowing that there is
Yes, yes.
something beyond it.
Yes, basically you need your experience, and we each can take our clients to the level that we got. So things that I had, clients come with things that I didn't resolve within myself, and yeah, it didn't feel good. I was like, okay, well, after he goes home, I have to sit with this. So
Mm.
that's it is the importance on us as a therapist of working on ourselves, facing that. And then life tends to bring such clients that are just match of what's happening inside. So when you see this inside of yourself, then when you see it happening in a client, you will not even take it seriously, because it's a mental fabrication. It's a lie.
Yeah.
So so he cannot deceive me with this trick, the client. Yeah.
So we've had a guest before, Richard Lang,
Mhm.
who's been a psychotherapist for many years, and the question we asked him was, how does the non-duality, or in his technique is called the headless way, but how does non-duality fit with hypnosis, um, for you?
Perfectly. So the moment you turn away from the mind, so you're in what in non-duality is called this non-dual space. You're in space of infinite possibilities. The moment the thoughts are coming, going, and there's the space between two thoughts. And when you enter this space between two thoughts, so even then, if the thoughts come, if you don't believe them, if you just see them as clouds passing on the sky, you find yourself in this space of which in non-duality is called. It's hard to describe it. So every system of spiritual tries to grasp it. Non-duality also tries to, but still it fails And non-duality is also just an experience. Non-dual experience is an experience, but you cannot live from this experience. You still have to live as a person. So that's also my discovery of many people can remain stuck at the level of non-duality. It's a very pleasant state. So basically, you can. There is a good story of a monk. Probably you know it. He was meditating in the Himalayas, and for months he was meditating, and it was only the mosquitoes were annoying to him. He couldn't stand them. But with time, he even got used to mosquitoes biting him. So he transcended everything, and he was in the space of nothingness or everything, or how to call this. And but then his visa expired, and he had to go down to the office to extend the visa. And he found there was a long line, and he found out that he was standing in the wrong line, and he ended up shouting. He had a mental breakdown. So you can be like 50 years in a non-dual experience, and then when you go out to the street and meet the first person, you have to interact as a person, as the person is conditioned, like a computer is wired.
Right.
This computer is wired in some way. Also, the
I
person
like
is
that.
wired, and non-duality is in the background, but
Yeah.
in some instances it will not help you much. So yeah, it's great to hear that you had a psychologist and also the non-dual experience, because that's also something that I looked for all my life to combine, because I
Yeah.
met so many psychologists who knew nothing about non-duality, and I met so many enlightened teachers in the East, and they knew nothing about the structure of human ego. So it was both were missing profoundly something. So when I found something that combines both aspects, I was, that was Lila School in Amsterdam.
Mm.
I don't know if you are familiar. Eli Jackson. He's from Gangaji, a partner. He was with Papaji, and then
Uh-huh.
so yeah, to bring the both things together. So here I found. So I think this is something that also is discovered here in these meetings with you, Iwan. So I think it's very rare to have something like that. To have someone, knowing how the mind works with this experience of
Mm.
non-duality.
Your story reminds me of a saying Muji has, which is if you think you're enlightened, go and stay with your parents for a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, maybe this is a good time to bring everybody else in. Well, they're here, but I just have to unpin you, I think. Um, and then if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask Sasha.
Sasha,
Mhm.
when you had this moment from the darkness and you knew that something had changed, did you have a name for it then, or did you then have to search for non-duality to explain the experience?
Oh, I was the case that has a lot of intellect, that knows everything about enlightenment before, but doesn't have the experience. So I knew everything, but it wasn't my experience. So when it happened, I could very fast see, aha, okay, that is what this teacher said. That is what Buddha is saying. That is what you know Ramana is saying. So I had. But also in some way I see that nothing that they say is true. They're just trying, really trying to point to something. But I was mistaking the pointer for what it's pointing to, and yeah. So I kind of had a sense what's happening. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so you had the references before it, so you knew where
Yes,
where to
yes,
pitch it from.
yes.
But I mean, I often feel that everything I know about non-duality is absolutely nothing to do with the real experience. Like
Yes.
nothing. It's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I heard one non-duality speaker. He said that the moment he got this internally, he took all the books and burned it, and the Ramana and Nisargadatta, and also now, if I open it and see it doesn't have anything. It's not it's because this is fresh. You cannot save it up for later. It's a food, you have a dish and you eat it, but imagine if you put this dish now under your bed, and after 10 years, or 15, and it's not nice to say, but those people that are still, into the teachings of Ramana and they kind of smell of that dish, it's yeah.
A fine cheese.
But it's necessary to some point. It's well, for me, if I didn't, no, it's all part of the process. I read every book, and
Yeah.
probably we also, without every single book of those books, everything culminated to this process. So it's also very invaluable. But then some non-duality speakers are a little bit arrogant, and then they start saying, this nothing, blah, blah, blah. And they laugh at people that are seeking, and and I saw many cases like that. But that's also not right. This is in India they have Advaita Vedanta, and it's like a systematic process where they get students from duality to non-duality, and there are also systematic ways to reach that.
Yes,
And there are also spontaneous cases of just out of the blue. So there are no rules. So.
yeah. Tony Parsons was a builder, just walking across the
Yes.
Hyde Park or wherever. Anybody else with a question for Sasha?
I guess when you talk about the energy in the body and the blockages of energy in the body, when you do your hypnotherapy, I don't want to say the word cure, people's physical ailments, but I think, one thing that's come out of Ewan's course is that people feel better physically a lot of the time. And my brother is dying of cancer at the moment, but I think personally that it's from trauma that's been suppressed. I mean, I couldn't say that to him because he would probably just kill me. But I just wondered, with your knowledge of medicine and now your hypnotherapy, do you feel that can actually cure people's physical ailments?
Yes. Very hard to say that because I didn't have enough follow-up and personal experience to say. In theory, it sounds possible, of course, because as you say, how emotion and all those energies and everything is connected with our physical health. So definitely, if you can bring cancer about from certain behavior, way of thinking, way of feeling, then it's possible to reverse this process. There is a brilliant book, Radical Remission, which is now being translated to Slovenian, and it speaks about that. I think that would be great for your brother. Radical Remission. So I even noticed a very odd thing, but some clients with some clients they decide for like 4-month sessions, longer programs to really like transform their lives. And they came in the first session and they have like a body odor that is like very heavy odor that is caused and I already know that it's caused by a very difficult emotion being stuck, unprocessed. It causes like yeah. And then after a month, it's completely gone, this bodily odor. So it's amazing. So when I saw that, I said, wow. So it the body is immensely connected with those with the mind and the. So yeah, that is just one illustration. Out of this, you can imagine what are the implications of clearing out those energies, emotions.
Sasha, do you cross your work over from working with the gut? Did you say you were a surgeon of the gut? Did I get that right?
Well, yeah, I did just 1 year of this specialization, and yeah, there is a curious similarity, because surgery is, like you come, you open a person, and it's done, and you dive deep into their body, and and also gut, yeah, the emotions, and so I do the similar thing now. It's a relatively quick intervention. Sometimes it's one session. Client sits, we go deep inside, and then the client feels much better. And yeah, interesting. I was thinking about that, the gut and the emotion, and I was drawn. I remember when I was a student, we had this dissecting, cadavers, how it's said, and someone went for the arm, and someone went for the, to cut. I immediately opened the opened the stomach of. So it's something. So I was drawn to this, yeah, and my final stages of awakening, I would say, was just opening those energies in the stomach, I would say. So
They say that I read that great book by called The Gut by Julia, I can't remember her surname, but saying that there's a brain worth of cells in the gut.
yes.
And it's that gut feeling, like emotions are really stored. It's also where the lower dantian is, or the second chakra. So it holds a lot of emotions and a lot of
Yes.
how that a lot of illnesses, even like Alzheimer's and depression, come from gut health. So it's just interesting that you've come from the gut, and now you're in hypnosis. It's kind of a good leaping point to go from. In.
Yeah, I followed the gut feeling.
Yeah.
So, Sasha,
And the God brought me here then.
I just want to pick up on something you just said, which was that you had the awakening in the heart, but the final awakening was in the stomach. Sorry to bring you back to that, but could you say a bit more about that?
Yeah, so that was happening then years after, I would say, still I would feel something was off, something was off in my life situations, and I really sit to chat. So okay, what's happening? Then I would always notice something in my stomach. Something was like something pulsating, something and then I sit with that. It was like orgasmic release of energy, and then those life situations, didn't bother me anymore, and suddenly it was more integrated. And I still, sometimes in my gut, I notice sometimes, something's pulsating, and now I have so little time, but whenever I have time, I sit, and go inside, and then there's many things happening, so I think it's from childhood that a lot of it is trauma, it's stored. I think it's stored, most of it, in my experience, it's in the gut, and it's also lower in the genital region, and in all those areas around the anus and all, just here, yeah. So that the more the process goes, it's happening more lower and lower, which is reversed, as I heard. It was supposed to the Kundalini go up and open the chakras, but one shamanic lady told me like 10 years ago, you have this, everything is open, and here everything is open, and from here then just everything is closed. She said, like, So that explains then the nature of my. So first I read all the books, so I assimilated all knowledge, but then it had to go also in the body, to be able to live more according to those realizations.
Yeah. And the thing that's really counterintuitive is that people try and change the outer circumstances. But when you feel the body and listen to the body, those outer circumstances start to change without you having to do anything somehow.
That's amazing, yeah.
That is amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Imagine what a waste of energy to fight with the windmills when you can just sit and check and open to some kind of feeling somewhere, and then it's just
Yeah.
suddenly you don't have a lack of money anymore. You don't have to struggle so much. But it is the case. It's also with it will notice. It will show everywhere. In your relationships, in your financial situation,
Yeah.
body health, everything. Yeah.
But it's not a process of analysis, and this is what I struggle to communicate to my partner, who's always going, "Why is it like this happening again? Why? I need to find out. I need to find out."
Yeah, that's a poison of the latest century, because we had Sigmund Freud and psychoanalysis, and I know people go for 10 years for psychoanalysis, and many people call me. I was going to psychotherapy for 3 years now, and I know why this happened, when this happened when I was a child, and I know how I am supposed to be. The therapist told me that I have to be like this now, but I just can't do it. And here in hypnosis, it happens transformation. I don't know how it happened. The client doesn't know how it happened, and they just don't have a problem, and then they don't even remember they had. I asked them about the problem. They're like, "What?" And it's just garbage. You just you throw it outside. You don't. Oh, this is a handkerchief. This is a banana. This is a. You just
Yeah.
you just throw it away. Oh.
So I had
I don't.
go ahead, Al, sorry.
No, go on.
Well, I was hypnotized in college in the show. So I was invited on
Oh.
with like 20 people, and there was a show hypnotist, and he just narrowed it down to the most susceptible. And it was just me, so he got me to eat an onion and pretend it was an apple. He got me to, he would whisper in my ear what to do because he knew I wasn't hypnotized. Um, and it was just a show, and I was the one that empathized with the most with him, and I felt the show must go on, so I did everything he was suggesting
Okay.
to me.
Yes,
But
yes.
nobody was hypnotized. So I have a very skeptical concept of hypnotism as just like peer pressure or and he did say, I won't embarrass you, but then he said in 10 in I'm gonna count down from 10 and he's gonna think he's Michael Jackson and he's gonna dance like Michael Jackson. And
Yes, yes.
behind his back I was kind of looking at the audience thinking that's a step too far, but
Mm.
So what's the difference between what you do and what people do on stage?
Well, it's in the chair, it's not on the stage.
Yeah.
Well, the hypnosis, this is the basics. Hypnosis started like that. It started as a show, a theater, and of course, that's why it has a bad reputation. But then there was one doctor, he was watching this show, and then he realized, oh, I could use this with my clients. He was a surgeon, and then he started operating without anesthesia, because he was using the same. So in our school, also say it's valuable. The stage hypnosis, the techniques that you use are valuable because they're the basis of technique that then you use. But now the hypnosis is becoming more and more conversational. So basically, often this would look just as a conversation, and then in the end of the session, they often are quite disappointed. So, but I imagine this that I'm going to, but then I ask about the problem, but they say, oh, it's gone, like So it's very covert. It's just, it's every word is calculated, how to put it, where to put it, so to deconstruct his trance, and the person will not notice it. And sometimes, okay, I will, if someone needs this confirmation that something happened, I will induce a little bit deeper trance, so it's so that that they get, if they need really this experience of hypnosis as an anchor to know that something really profound happened. But basically, it's just a state of relaxation and absorption of attention. When you're doing mindfulness, it's maybe self-hypnosis, so, or we do something really love, so you're in hypnosis. So we just use this focus of attention. When you have this feeling in your body, when you focus all your attention on this feeling, so that's hypnosis. So it's very, for me, I don't even distinguish now hypnosis from non. For me, everything is hypnosis and everything is not hypnosis. And also, people come maybe to wake up from hypnosis, to those sessions, because we are hypnotized by the media, by by our parents, teachers, everybody, all the time. And so it's really hard to say what's hypnosis and what's not hypnosis. And stage hypnosis, yeah, even though it's it was humiliating for people, and but it built a foundation on which this work from, I don't know, Milton Erickson, if you're familiar, and then all this work then sprung out. Yeah.
Al, you had a
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Al?
I don't have a question, just a sort of thought, really. That was fascinating. But, that there's so much in there about constructed realities and what's real and what's not. And I was thinking about when you're talking about people in therapy and analysing, and I was thinking about my habit of chronic overthinking, and it's got me in some real fixes. And it's like I have to find out, I have to know, I have to try and find out something out. I don't really know what it is I'm trying to find out, but I have to find it out to solve the problem of me, or to solve the problem of living. And there's kind of panic or unease that I have experienced in my life about not knowing and like wanting to know, and I need to know. What's I'm starting to sort of not. I'm not on any great path or anything, but just that I have had a few moments where I've just thought, actually, not knowing isn't the problem, and actually not knowing is the solution.
Oh wow.
that not or not know, it's not, the problem isn't not knowing, the problem is how you feel about not knowing. And I wonder if non-duality and not knowing are related in some way or another, and that I can't get my head around non-duality, but I can get my head around, I think that I'm supposed to not know. I think that not knowing is actually a freeing place to be. All it is changing a habit of a lifetime of panicking about that into having a completely different relationship with it. Just there's quite a lot of things that sort of resonated, and yeah, and particularly when you mentioned about the overthinking. Yeah, I don't know. That's just an observation.
Yeah, clearly, a part of you that you described that wants to know, and another part of you that already knows that it cannot know. And when you wrap your head around those things that you cannot know, and really go deeper into this space that you're speaking from right now, and yeah, I see that then
And
a
you
different
can't,
a different perspective starts to open. Yeah, you see that. Yeah.
yeah.
How did you do that? How did you come to that kind of conclusion?
So is that
Yeah.
a question?
Yeah, where did that conclusion come from?
I
Yeah.
kind of
Do you
just
know? Did you
flashing.
choose? Did you choose to
No,
have this? Yeah.
that's just what I was thinking,
Yeah.
that I can't actually even put my finger on what it is that
Yeah.
from there to there, I don't know what's going on there, but or even it's just there's just like an oh thing going on.
Yes,
I
and
can't
who
even,
do
I can't
who
put
do
it
you
into
become?
language.
Yes, who do you
Yeah,
become when you totally focus on this and really realize that you can't know those things that
no,
used to matter? Yeah,
I can say it. Like I've just said,
yeah,
oh, I had a problem with not knowing, and I think about I'm not supposed to have a problem with not knowing, but it's not. The experience of it or the journey to it is much more not. It's not that either. I don't know. It was
yes.
just
And
that there was a.
when you let this journey take you even deeper, what do you discover there?
I sort of don't have a choice. It's just what
Yeah.
But these kinds of conversations and listening to these experiences is really kind of resonates in some way or another in that respect. Also, being done with like that. When you think yourself to the where you just thought just collapses, it's like a black hole
Yes,
of
yes.
it just
The
collapses
black
into
hole.
meaninglessness. then you've got that's the only way you can go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when everything collapses, what remains?
This podcast is called Traveling Lighter, but maybe we should call it the Black Hole because that keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Eventually, you travel so light that well, it's maybe not even called traveling.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's really interesting. Listen to.
Thank you.
See, Paul hasn't got any questions. He's in that state of not having any questions.
I just loved that conversation, and I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed the whole. I haven't got anything to talk to you about at this moment, but I really enjoyed the conversation. I think, yeah.
It's good to hear that the stomach was the final explosion, because I've had that heart explosion, but my stomach is fucked, and it's been all my life. Obviously, got to sit a bit more with it. What's left of it. So yeah, that was interesting to hear. Do you do online sessions? It's just for the people watching.
Yeah, it's also Zoom. I also work for Zoom. Yes.
Yeah. So if you can send me the details, I'll put it in the YouTube video so that people can contact you. And
thank you very much. That's good for me.
Does anybody have any more questions? I have the feeling, Sasha, just to finish with with anything you'd like to say, because it's so nice to hear your voice, and I think you've got us all hypnotized, haven't you?
wasn't my plan. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always nice to finish everything with silence, yes, because words can bring you up to a certain point, and after that they become the obstacles. So, like a boat takes you to another part of the river, and then if you had to drag it on earth behind you, it would be better to just leave it and just because there are words, and then there is everything other that's not word, and equally, if not even more important, and it's happening inside and also outside of us, and that which is happening inside of our body, and that which is not happening in the mind when those two aspects combined, and then we really let those thoughts go their own way, and just for a few moments stay in this silence. We have different brain that learn the different things during the life, and we speak in a different way because of that, each of us. But then in this silence is like a common ground, like a desktop on a computer that is fundamental to each of us. And in silence we meet here, so it's the only space where we can meet. So words can are easier to bring misunderstandings than true understandings, but in silence there is no misunderstanding. So when you truly meet a person that is your match, you can just be silent with that person, isn't it so?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'd like to spend some more time in silence with you, Sasha. When I guess you don't go to retreats anymore, so we'll have to just come and meet you in Ljubljana.
Yeah, it would be so nice to meet you again after all those years.
And I hope you'll join us again with this podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I will be always happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy. It energizes me. I was tired a little bit before this meeting, and now I feel like I could go out dancing or something.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sasha.
It was very nice to, you're really
Thank you so much.
sweet company, each one of you. So thank you, Ivan, and yeah, we will be in touch, right?
Yeah, definitely. Ciao.